As a longtime professor and friend recently said about Martha, she's an activist who has always kept to her principles. Martha made a choice to be an effective leader in the advocacy world, and she keeps on fighting. She is a mujer of valiant spirit, utmost intelligence, and unwavering commitment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please join me in welcoming the first Mujer Latina Executive Director of a local state and national organization, Ms. Martha Dina Arguello. And let me just say, I have a certificate from the California State Senate to Martha acknowledging the outstanding accomplishments of this amazing mujer.
Thank you, Gloria. I knew the staff in my office was planning a surprise. I just didn't know it was quite this big. So, and I'm usually not shy, but for some reason today I'm feeling a little bit shy, but thank you very much, Gloria. And I do remember actually taking over the law school admissions office when I was, I think, all of 23, and just didn't have any patience and wanted everything to change right now. And what I've learned over the many years and from many of our honorees tonight is that change takes time. So first, I want to thank a lot of folks who are responsible for making tonight really wonderful. And usually in my office, we have this great team of women. Ironically, all the honorees are men, but all the work is being done by women. But they did not want to come up here on stage. I guess I'm the only diva in the office, and that's hard to believe. But I really want you to give a round of applause to an incredible staff who has done everything in their power to make tonight incredibly special for me and all of our honorees. So to Denise Duffield, our Associate Director. Kathy Attar, who gets to do all the work I used to really love doing around environmental health and justice, and she's back there, she's wonderful. Ana Mascareñas, our new membership coordinator, and for the first time in our history, we actually have someone who will have time to nurture that next generation of physician advocates that we need to continue our work. And Gidget, my longtime friend Gidget, who always comes through to help us when we need her, she's somewhere out there, Vicky. And to Lily, my sister, who's been helping us out the last few weeks, thank you so much. We have an incredible production team who has gone above and beyond the call of duty to help for tonight, and that's Julie Thompson, Brogan DePere, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, and Kate Galen. Thank you so much for all that you did with our presenters and managing tonight. And our board, they are the stewards of our mission. And without them, we as a staff could not be good stewards for future generations. Neil Baer, Dr. Robert Dodge, Tova Fuller, Dr. Nancy Gibbs, Dr. Jimmy Hara, Ken Levy, Jean Londi, Jean Manja, Dr. William Perkins, Dr. Jose Quiroga, Ruth Tavlin, Margaret Wacker, and Curren Warf. Again, thank you for all the support that you give us. And I also want to thank tonight's sponsors. The South Coast Air Quality Management District. Often we are working in partnership, but also often we have to push them to protect and clean up LA's lethal air. But first I want to especially call out Dr. Joseph Liu, who is a longtime ally, and we thought something had happened in the universe when he suddenly got appointed to be on the South Coast Air Quality Management District's board. But that change does happen. You have an environmental justice advocate who has worked with our organization for many years on that board. Dr. Paul Takashi, Dr. Nancy Gibbs, Jody Evans and Max Palevsky, the Mattel Children's Hospital, Dr. Margaret Wacker, Maureen and Peter Dorkin, Cliff Gladstein, the Japanese American Medical Association, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, St. Mary's Episcopal Church, and all of you. We couldn't do the work that we do without you. We couldn't be dedicated to this concept of change. That certainly, as you heard earlier, I've been doing this for a long, long time now. And often, we still think in our office, what does it take to make change? And the theme of this year's gala is Prescription for Change, because we know we're on the eve of great change in this country. But we can't think that that change ends with the election. The hard work of making real changes in our society and with our environment and for peace begins the day of the elections. That's when we all have to roll up our sleeves and work a little bit harder to make sure that the policies that get enacted are the ones that we really need. We ask ourselves, how do we transform this world? Well, we do it with the unique gifts that we all have. The unique gift of our organization is the voice of physicians, and we use that talent to inspire, to teach, to organize and mobilize, to be a powerful voice for change, calling for dramatic changes we need in policy and in our society. We make this change with our lifelong friends and supporters, and for many of you who are new tonight to PSR, we hope to work with you so that you may become old friends and allies of PSR Los Angeles. PSR-LA is at the center often of a vibrant social movement for social justice, equity, and peace. PSR is unique among PSR chapters nationally in that we have these very intense working relationships with environmental justice communities, the groups that Jane Williams represents throughout the state of California, and Joe Liu through the California Environmental Rights Alliance, and Marlene Grossman at Pacoima Beautiful, and Jim Manja with St. John's, and Nancy out there somewhere with the Healthy Homes Collaborative. There we have the capacity to take the physician's voice and link it to people who are going door to door or providing healthcare services to build a strong voice for change. We represent and support the communities who live fence line to polluters, be they refineries, power plants, train depots, or freeways. We work with the Healthy Homes Collaborative to change and prevent lead poisoning. And so our bill currently that we have, that you might have seen outside, is SB 775. When we first started working on this bill, one of the advocates for the Major Medical Association told one of the young women advocates, you know, you're with the big boys now. And it was very hard to get this bill through the Assembly last year, through the Senate, because there was major opposition from the big boys, being the California Medical and some of the other medical associations. Well, this year, again, the voice of physicians prevailed when our board members and many other nationally recognized pediatricians wrote a letter to these major medical associations talking about the importance of testing children and putting that testing record on the immunization record as a tool for parents. Well, I'm happy to announce that as of last week, that opposition no longer exists, and we expect to make that this bill will make it out of the Assembly Health next week. As I like to tell Kathy, we had some big boys of our own. So, and women, yes. That goes, I'm sorry, that goes without saying. A major part of our work is also creating doctor diplomats. Just a few weeks ago, we coordinated with other PSRs all over the country a tour of Iranian physicians and their patients, talking about the impacts of weapons of mass destruction, of chemical weapons that were used in Iran. Again, a partnership between doctor and patient, speaking truth to power and ensuring that we never again use these chemicals on communities anywhere in the world. And in your program, we continue the spirit of doctor-to-doctor diplomacy. On June 10th, there is a national call-in day for Iran. Look in your program, it's there, call in, make your voices heard so that we do not escalate our conflicts with Iran and that we prevent what cannot be cured, the war and its impacts on all human beings. I'm reminded when I thought about the chemical weapons that if you just play around with a few of those molecules in those chemical weapons, whether they be sarin or mustard gas, you know what they become? They become either the byproducts or some of the building blocks of chemicals like pesticides, plastic,